Good morning, dear students. We are here for the first time after a long vacation, living in a period of a scary pandemic. We have our own limitations here, and we are going to make every limitations an opportunity. So this is a novel way of introducing a lesson. Using a digital media presentation, and I feel I am doing this for the first time in my career. Here we are going to learn the first 5 paragraphs of the lesson, Adagers in a Banyan tree. Before we begin, we shall watch a video.
Ruskin Bond is an eminent contemporary Indian writer of British descent. He was born on 19th May 1934. His alma mater was Dusha Bhutan School, Shimla. He wrote short stories and fictional at the age of 16 in 1954. He wrote his first novel, The Room on the Roof, while he was 17 years old, which won the John Llewellyn Rhys Prize. Most of his works are influenced by his life in the hill station, where he had spent his childhood days. Being a writer, over 50 years, Bond experimented with different genres. His early works included fiction, short stories, novels, with some being autobiographical. Later he tried at non-fiction, romance, and books for children. His favorite genres are essays and short stories. The Angry River was his first children's work. Some of his notable works are Our Trees Still Grew in Dara, A Flight of Pigeons, The Blue Umbrella. Many of his stories became super-hit movies. The Blue Umbrella, Junoon, Saath Khoon Maaf, The Black Cat, etc. are some of them. The Indian Council for Child Education has recognized his role in the growth of children's literature in India. He received the Sahitya Akademi Award for his short story collections, Our Trees Still Grow in Dara in 1992. He was awarded Padma Shri in 1999 for his contributions in children's literature. He got the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2017. He now lives with his adopted family in Landor near Missouri.
പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട കുട്ടികളെ, ഞാൻ മുമ്പേ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ മുമ്പിൽ വളരെയധികം പ്രതിസന്ധികളുണ്ട് അല്ലേ? അപ്പോൾ ഈ പ്രതിസന്ധികൾക്കിടയിൽ നമ്മുടെ പരിമിതികൾക്കുള്ളിൽ നിന്നുകൊണ്ട് അധ്യാപകരെന്ന നിലയിൽ ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിയുന്ന, കുട്ടികളെന്ന നിലയിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലാക്കാൻ കഴിയുന്ന, ഗ്രഹിക്കാൻ കഴിയുന്ന രീതിയിൽ പാഠഭാഗങ്ങൾ അവതരിപ്പിക്കുക എന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഇവിടെ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. We know we have so many limitations, but still we are trying to do our best. So let's begin our lesson. On the screen is the text go through those paragraphs here. Note the difficult words. Then you may have noticed certain words written there in a different color. These are the words that I find difficult for you to comprehend. You have to read the lesson, read those paragraphs, find whether they are the only words that is difficult for you. If there are any other words, you can pause me, ask me your doubts. So you may go through the paragraphs and find whether you can understand, you can comprehend the idea given there in the story. See, I am scrolling this screen a bit fast. You can pause it wherever it is needed for you and read it. You can pause the screen and you can read it and try to understand the meaning of the passage. So let's begin from the first paragraph. I'm going to read the paragraph. I'm going to read it for you. Adventures in a Banyan tree. Though the house and the grounds of our home in India were grandfather's domain, the magnificent old banyan tree was mine, chiefly because grandfather, at the age of 65, could no longer climb it. Grandmother used to tease him about this and would speak of a certain Countess of Desmond, an English woman who lived to the age of 170 and would have lived longer if he hadn't fallen while climbing an apple tree. The spreading branches of the banyan tree, which curved to the ground and took root again, forming a maze of arches, gave me endless pleasure. The tree was older than the house, older than grandfather, as old as the town of Dara, nestling in a valley at the foot of Himalaya. My first friend and familiar was a small grey squirrel. Arching his back and sniffing into the air, he seemed at first to resent my invasion of his privacy. But when he found that I did not arm myself with a catapult or air gun, he became friendly. And when I started leaving him pieces of cake and biscuit, he grew bolder and finally became familiar enough to take food from my hands. Before long, he was delving into my pockets and helping himself to whatever he could find. As a very young squirrel, and his friends and relatives probably thought him headstrong and foolish for trusting a human. In the spring, when the young man was full of small red figs, birds of all kinds would flock into its branches. The red-bottomed bulbul, cheerful and greedy, gossiping rosy pastors, and parrots and crows squabbling with each other all the time. During a fig season, the banyan tree was the noisiest place on the road. Halfway up the tree, I had built a small platform on which I would often spend the afternoons when it wasn't too hot. I could read there, propping myself up against the bole of the trees with cushions taken from the drawing rooms. Treasure Island, Huckleberry Finn, Mowgli Stories, and the novel of Edgar Allan Poe and Louisa May Alcott made up my bag of very mixed reading. As I have told you earlier, I have marked certain words in a different color, and I think you may find those words a bit difficult. So I'm going to give you the meaning of those words, give you some explanations regarding those words, and see whether you can understand them. You can easily grasp the idea of the story after finding out these meanings. Domain, a complete ownership of land. അധികാര സ്ഥലം എന്ന് നമ്മൾ മലയാളത്തിൽ. മാഗ്നിഫിഷ്യൻ, great. You know the meaning of that word. You can understand. Great Ashoka, great Akbar. Ease, state of being comfortable. സുഖകരമായ അവസ്ഥ. Then maze, something which is confusing. കെട്ട് പിണഞ്ഞ്, ടാങ്കിൾഡ്, മെയ്സ്, ആശയക്കുഴപ്പമുണ്ടാക്കുന്നു. ഓക്കെ, ദെൻ see the next word, nestling, a small bird which has not left the nest. In Malayalam we say പറക്കമുറ്റാത്ത കിളി. Sniffing to smell, reason to show disagreement, arching to bend. Remember the word, remember arch, arch door. Okay, catapult, an ancient military device. Here is a picture. നമ്മൾ കവണ എന്നൊക്കെ പറയും അല്ലേ. Delving, to dig. See the picture of rosy pasture. Then propping on a pillow. To support by placing something under. ചാരി കിടക്കുക, ചാരി ഇരിക്കുക അല്ലേ. ഓക്കെ, probably, likely, doubtlessly. Bow, trunk. See the picture. Scrabbling, noisy quarrel on silly matters. കലവില്ല എന്ന് നമ്മൾ മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയും അല്ലേ. സ്ക്വാബ്ലിംഗ്, a noisy quarrel on silly matters. Now we are going to read the paragraphs. Read those paragraphs once again. As I told you earlier, I may be scrolling the mouse a bit faster, scrolling the screen a bit faster. You can pause wherever it's needed and read it in a calm manner. Read those paragraphs very carefully. Try to understand the meaning. If you have doubts regarding the pronunciation of a particular word, as I told you earlier, you can go to the go through the dictionary. You can search the dictionary. Merriam-Webster's dictionary is there free online. You can go online and check those words, find the meaning, find the way the word is used, find the pronunciation. And see here certain stories, certain storybooks, certain writers are written here. Treasure Island, Huckleberry Finn, the Mowgli stories, novels of Edgar Rice Burroughs, Louisa May Alcott. Edgar Rice Burroughs is one of the famous American writers. He is famous for his story Tarzan. You might have heard about that story. Louisa May Alcott, another prolific American writer, famous for her novel The Little Woman. The renowned American writer Mark Twain. Again, you're familiar with The Jungle Book and Mowgli, written by Rudyard Kipling. A Scottish English writer, Stevenson, famous for his children's story Treasure Island. Now, I'm going to read this paragraph once again. Adventures in a Banyan Tree. Though the house and grounds of our home in India were grandfather's domain, the magnificent old banyan tree was mine, chiefly because grandfather, at the age of 65, could no longer climb it. Grandmother used to tease him about this and would speak of a certain Countess of Desmond, an English woman who lived to the age of 170 and would have lived longer if he hadn't fallen while climbing an apple tree. The spreading branches of the banyan tree, which curved to the ground and took root again, forming a maze of arches, gave me endless pleasure. The tree was mine, then the house, older than grandfather, as old as the town of Dehra, nestling in a valley at the foot of Himalayas. So dear students, this paragraph is a nostalgic presentation of the past. How that grandmother used to tease him, used to make fun of him because he could not climb that tree, that old banyan tree. See, how old is that banyan tree? It is older than their house, older than his grandfather. It is as old as Dehra, and it is rooted at the foot of Himalayas. വളരെ രസകരമായ രീതിയിൽ അല്ലേ, ഒരു പഴയകാല ഓർമ്മ പുതുക്കലിൻ്റെ ഒരു ചെറിയ അവതരണമാണ് ഇവിടെ റസ്കിൻ ബോണ്ട് നൽകിയിരിക്കുന്നത് അല്ലേ. എങ്ങനെയാണ് ആൽമരം ആ ഒരു പ്രദേശത്ത് പടർന്ന് പന്തലിച്ച് നിൽക്കുന്നത് അല്ലേ. വിത്ത് സ്പ്രെഡഡ് ബ്രാഞ്ചസ് ഓഫ് ദ ബനിയൻ ട്രീ, ഫോമിങ് എ മെയ്സ് അല്ലേ, ഒരു കെട്ടുപിണഞ്ഞ മട്ടിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ പടർന്ന് പന്തലിച്ച് കിടക്കുന്ന ആ ഒരു ആൽമരത്തിൻ്റെ ചിത്രം. പിന്നെ ആ ആൽമരത്തിൻ്റെ പ്രായത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് പറയും അല്ലേ. എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് പറയുന്നത്? അവരുടെ വീടിനേക്കാട്ടിൽ പ്രായമുള്ളതാണ് ആൽമരത്തിന്, അതേപോലെ തന്നെ അവരുടെ മുത്തശ്ശനേക്കാൾ പ്രായമുള്ളതാണ് അല്ലേ. ആ ഡെഹ്റ എന്ന ആ ഒരു തെരുവിനോളം പ്രായമുള്ളതാണ്. അങ്ങനെയൊക്കെയുള്ള ഈ ആൽമരം എവിടെയാണ് നിൽക്കുന്നത്? അറ്റ് ദ ഫുട്ട് ഓഫ് ഹിമാലയാസ്. Okay, we shall go to the next paragraph. My first friend and familiar was a small grey squirrel, arching his back and sniffing into the air. He seemed at first to resent my invasion of his privacy. But when he found that I did not arm myself, with a catapult or air gun, he became friendlier. And when I started leaving him pieces of cake and biscuits, he grew bolder and finally became familiar enough to take food from my hand. So he became familiar enough to take food from my hands. A grey squirrel. We can imagine the picture of a squirrel with its back in the form of an arch, sitting on a branch of a tree, sniffing into the air, sitting on its hind legs. Imagine the picture of a small squirrel. നമുക്കൊക്കെ അറിയാം അല്ലേ, ഒരു അണ്ണാൻ. Whenever we try to move towards the squirrel, what would the squirrels do? It would make a cry and it would escape from there. But what happens here? He started feeding with cake and biscuits, and then it began to take food from the writer's hand. When the writer says that the squirrel started taking food from the writer's hand, we can feel the touch of the squirrel's nose, right? അങ്ങനെ ആ ചാരനിറത്തിലുള്ള അണ്ണാനും ആ എഴുത്തുകാരനും തമ്മിൽ സുഹൃത്തുക്കളാണ് അല്ലേ? എപ്പോഴാണ്? When it found that the writer is not going to hurt him, it's not going to harm him, അല്ലേ? With a catapult, ഒരു കവണയെന്നും വെച്ച്, തോക്ക് വെച്ച് തന്നെ ഉപദ്രവിക്കാൻ വരുന്നില്ല എന്ന് മനസ്സിലാക്കിയപ്പോഴേ അല്ലേ, they became friends. Now we are moving on to the next paragraph. Before long, he was delving into my pockets and helping himself to whatever he could find. He was a very young squirrel, and his friends and relatives probably thought him headstrong and foolish for trusting a human. Then the squirrel started, so they became friends. The squirrel started digging his pockets, and what were the remarks? What was the notion of his friends? They thought that young squirrel a fool because he started trusting a human. ഇവിടെ എന്താ സംഭവിച്ചത്? സുഹൃത്തൊക്കെ ആയിക്കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ, കൂട്ടുകാരായി കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ അവൻ്റെ പോക്കറ്റിൽ ഈ അണ്ണാൻ എന്ത് ചെയ്യാൻ തുടങ്ങി, കയറാനും ഇറങ്ങാനും ഒക്കെ തുടങ്ങി. അപ്പോഴവൻ്റെ സുഹൃത്തുക്കൾ എന്ത് ചിന്തിച്ചേ, ഹീസ് ഹെഡ് സ്ട്രോങ്, ഹീസ് സോ പ്രൗഡ്, ഹീസ് ഹെഡ് സ്ട്രോങ്, ഹീസ് പ്രൗഡ് ആൻഡ് അറ്റ് ദ സെയിം ടൈം ഹീസ് എ ഫൂൾ. അല്ലേ? കാരണം എന്താ, he starts trusting, he has trusted a human being. ആ മനുഷ്യനെ, ആ ഒരു മൃഗം, ഒരു അണ്ണാനെ പോലെയുള്ള ഒരു ജീവി വിശ്വസിക്കുക എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് അൺകോമൺ അല്ലേ? അപ്പോൾ അവർക്കെന്ത് തോന്നി, അവനൊരു വിഡ്ഢിയാണ് എന്ന് കരുതി അവരവനെ മാറ്റി നിർത്തി. Now we are going to the next paragraph. In the spring, when the banyan tree was full of small red figs, the birds of all kinds would flock into its branches. The red-bottomed bulbul, the cheerful and greedy gossiping rosy pastures, parrots and crows squabbling with each other all the time. During the fig season, the banyan tree was the noisiest place on the road. So what is the peculiarity during the fig season? Banyan tree became the noisiest place on the road. And who frequent that banyan tree? Birds of all kind, a red-bottomed bulbul, and beautiful and greedy, gossiping, rosy pastures, parrots and crows. Now, look at the pictures. Look at the picture of a rosy pasture. What do you mean by a rosy pasture? Now we are going to see the picture of a rosy pasture. The peculiarities regarding that rosy pasture. Once again, see the picture of rosy pastures. Again, different kinds of bulbul. Yellow brown bulbul, red whiskered bulbul. Now we are coming to the 5th paragraph. Halfway up the tree, I had built a small platform on which I would often spend the afternoons when it was in too hot. I could read there, propping myself up against the bole of a tree with cushions taken from the drawing room. Treasure Island, Huckleberry Finn, Mowgli Stories, and the novels of Edgar Rice Burroughs, Louisa May Alcott made up my bag of very mixed reading. Here again, he is quoting his past experience, his childhood experience. We 10th standard students during the vacations, when we were 6 or 7 years old, we would engage in so many childish plays. And here the writer, when he became old, he is recollecting his own days during his childhood when he used to read those wonderful books. Lying against a tree, against the bole of a tree. Lying against the trunk of a tree. അല്ലേ? നമ്മുടെ കുട്ടിക്കാലത്ത്, ഞങ്ങളൊക്കെ കുട്ടികളല്ലേ ഇപ്പോഴും, അപ്പം ഞങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഞങ്ങളുടെ കുട്ടിക്കാലത്ത് ഇതുപോലുള്ള കൊച്ചു കൊച്ചു കഥാപുസ്തകങ്ങളൊക്കെ എടുത്തുകൊണ്ട് പോയി ഈ അവധിക്കാലത്ത് എവിടെയെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ മരത്തിൻ്റെ ചുവട്ടിലൊക്കെ ചെന്നിരുന്ന് വലിയ സന്തോഷത്തോടെ അവധിക്കാലം ആസ്വദിക്കുന്നത് എങ്ങനെയാണ്? ഇതുപോലുള്ള കഥാപുസ്തകങ്ങൾ വായിച്ച്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മുമ്പേ ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലുള്ള കൊച്ചു കൊച്ചു ചൈൽഡിഷായിട്ടുള്ള ഗെയിമുകൾ, ചൈൽഡിഷായിട്ടുള്ള വിനോദങ്ങൾ ഏർപ്പെട്ടൊക്കെയായിരുന്നു ഞങ്ങൾ സമയം ചെലവഴിച്ചത്. സോ ദ റൈറ്റർ ഈസ് റിക്കളക്റ്റിംഗ് how he spent those childhood days, and he is telling us how wonderful those days were. Hope you have understood those paragraphs. Now this is time for assignment. I am giving you certain questions from all the 5 paragraphs. From the first paragraph, there are 5 questions. From the second, 2. Again from the third, 2 more. Fourth paragraph, paragraph 4 and 5 only, 1 each. I'm not going to give you the answers. You may write the answer and post it in WhatsApp. If you don't have WhatsApp account, you may keep those answers with you and present it, submit it when the school reopens. So thank you for the day. We shall meet again in the next class.